Hello and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're embarking on a truly profound journey. We're looking into some ancient wisdom, but exploring a text that feels incredibly relevant right now for our modern lives. We're diving headfirst into something we all grapple with, something universal, suffering. It's a core human experience, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
And these teachings, they offer a really radical perspective on where it comes from and, maybe more importantly, a practical path to ending it.
Indeed. We're turning our attention today to one of the most, I'd say, beloved, accessible, and deeply practical texts in all of Buddhist literature. That's the Dhammapada.
Right.
And look, this isn't just some collection of dusty old sayings. It's a profound yet remarkably straightforward guide. It offers direct instructions, from the Buddha himself.
Wow.
Our exploration today, I hope, will help us understand, not just intellectually, but maybe more experientially, how our own minds, our habits of thought, our perception, how they actually contribute to our experiences of suffering. And crucially, how we can find, a lasting way out.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive then is to really unpack this incredible text, the Dhammapada. We want to explore its timeless teachings on overcoming craving.
Yes, overcoming craving, cultivating genuine mental discipline, and really walking the path of mindfulness.
Right. We're going to see how these ancient verses can serve as a direct, actionable guide, something you can actually use to end your own suffering, maybe transforming our lives one thought, one moment at a time.
That's the idea.
And it's fascinating, isn't it, that the title itself, Dhammapada, means something like sayings of Dhamma, or religious truth.
That's right. Dhamma meaning truth, or the way things are.
A truth not just to think about, but to actually live, right? Something intended to morally uplift us, sustain us through challenges. So where do we begin? Let's start unraveling this.
Okay, let's dive in.
All right, let's start with maybe a foundational concept from the Dhammapada. And this one, it might just turn our usual understanding of ourselves completely upside down. It's about the very nature of ourself.
The big one.
Yeah. It offers a really striking perspective. It urges us to recognize our impermanence, saying, let me get this right, knowing this body to be like foam, awakening to its mirage nature, cutting out Mara's flowers, one may go beyond the sight of the king of death.
Such powerful imagery.
Isn't it? This ancient wisdom, it's not just saying our physical form doesn't last. It feels like a call to look beyond the surface of what we think we are. It hints at something deeper.
Exactly.
And that phrase, cutting out Mara's flowers, what's that about?
Well, Mara in the Buddhist tradition is essentially the personification of temptation, desire, delusion, death, basically, everything that binds us to the cycle of suffering.
Oh, okay.
So cutting out his flowers means actively dismantling the very desires and illusions he uses to sort of trap us. It's an active process.
I see. So it's not passive at all.
Not at all. And what's truly transformative here is how directly this confronts our really deeply ingrained, almost unconscious belief in a solid, unchanging me.
Right. We all have that feeling.
We do. We spend our lives identifying with our roles. I'm a parent, a professional, a friend, our achievements, our failures, even our physical appearance, and this whole story we build around them.
Yeah, the narrative.
Precisely. Think about Ram Dass's personal experience, how he talked about shedding identities. He described recognizing all the different aspects I knew to be me. Professorness, social cosmopolite, cellist, pilot lover, and so on.
Right, I remember that.
And he noticed that as he let go of each one, he'd often think, well, I don't need that anyway. It really highlights how these are just aspects we know, but maybe not the absolute essence of us. It shows that impermanence the Dhammapada talks about in a very relatable way.
They're like costumes we wear.
Exactly. Temporary costumes for the play of life, not our true unchanging self.
Okay, so if we're not these constantly changing labels or even our physical body, what exactly are we clinging to, and why do we hold on so tight?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah. The Untethered Soul offers a really compelling answer here. It suggests that our very personality is often built up from this deep-seated, maybe unconscious need to protect ourselves from fear.
A defense mechanism?
Totally. We build these intricate mental, emotional structures. We literally take memories like from when we were 10 years old and we pull them together in an orderly fashion to define who we are now.
Right, constructing a story.
But the text asks, and this is provocative, how can you define yourself as the things that happen to you? It calls this a false self. It says it's just a concept of yourself that you hide behind.
Wow.
It's not just about external roles then. It's about that intensely personal internal story we build and then defend like crazy, thinking that's who we really are.
Which raises a profoundly important question, right? If this conventional self, this deeply felt me, is actually an illusion, as Waking Up argues, just a transitory appearance among transitory appearances, then letting go of these attachments, this whole mental structure, becomes absolutely crucial if we want genuine freedom from suffering.
It seems unavoidable then.
It does. And the fifth agreement clarifies this distinction really beautifully. It says, the real you is unique and it's beyond everything that you know because the real you is the truth. Then it adds, your physical presence is real. What you believe about yourself is not real.
Okay, that's a key difference, belief versus reality.
Exactly. This distinction between our beliefs, our fabricated stories, our clinging to the temporary, and our fundamental, maybe unchanging truth. That's the cornerstone for understanding and starting on the path of mindfulness. It's about peeling away those layers of what we think we are to find what's really underneath.
And this clinging, this identifying with the temporary, it doesn't stop with our self-concept, does it?
Yeah.
And it spills out into our relationship with the world, especially with, stuff.
Yeah.
Material possession.
Oh, absolutely. It's all connected.
Walden points this out so powerfully. It says, the claims which things make are corrupters of manhood, mortgages on the soul.
Mortgages on the soul. That's intense.
It really is. It's not just our identity, but our possessions that can weigh us down, create this burden, this obligation that holds us back, ties us to that cycle of getting and protecting. Conversations with God describes a kind of profound internal shift where the motivation, the incentive for greatness moves away from just accumulating stuff all the world has to offer towards a much deeper focus on spiritual truth, spiritual reality, and spiritual experience.
A shift in values.
Completely.
Yeah.
And when that happens, it says the need for coveting, acquiring, protecting, and increasing worldly possessions has disappeared.
It just falls away.
Yeah. It really emphasizes that true wealth, true security, isn't about what we pile up externally, but what we cultivate inside by letting go of these fleeting things.
So, okay, if we can start to let go of this false self and all the attachments that come with it, to roles, stories, possessions, what happens then? What becomes possible?
Yeah, what's the upside?
The untethered soul describes it really beautifully, I think. It's like falling back into an ocean of energy, becoming filled with light, experiencing a peace that passeth all understanding.
Wow.
It's about being sustained by an inherent inner force instead of relying on external definitions or that constant, exhausting effort to keep up this fragile, constructed identity.
So there's like a source of energy inside.
It suggests there's this profound, inexhaustible wellspring of peace and energy that's always there for us once we stop clinging to the temporary and just allow ourselves to be.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, and where this understanding starts to fundamentally shift how we even see reality. It brings us to the nature of perception itself.
Right, how we experience the world.
Exactly. Augustine, in his Confessions, talks about the deep difficulty he had in grasping spiritual substance. The non-physical divine essence of reality.
A common struggle.
And the sheer joy he felt when he realized he'd been yapping not at the universal church, but at fabricated cogitations about mere materiality.
Fabricated cogitations. Love that.
Me too.
Yeah.
He describes this moment of profound insight, like a radical shift in his whole frame of reference. He finally understood his arguments were based on a misunderstanding, a limited, material view of what was truly real.
So he saw beyond the physical.
Yeah. Moving from that constrained view to something much more expansive, spiritual, seeing beyond just physical reality to something far greater.
And Plotinus, the great Neoplatonist philosopher, offers a remarkably similar vision of this inward journey. He suggests that the soul dances outside this intellect, looking at it, and in contemplating its interior, looks at God through intellect.
Okay, unpack that a little. Intellect here means...
Here, intellect refers to the higher mind, the realm of pure ideas, universal forms. His imagery encourages us to go beyond just our everyday analytical mind, beyond superficial perceptions.
Go deeper.
Exactly. Delve deeper into our interior landscape, using our highest mental faculties as a kind of gateway to the divine or ultimate reality.
Okay.
And radical acceptance invites a really complementary practice. It asks us to be aware of the body as a field of changing sensations, and then to ask, What or who is aware of experience? Is there any solid self you can locate that possesses these sensations?
Bringing it back to direct experience.
Precisely. This fosters a radically different way of relating to our inner world. Not by identifying with the fleeting sensations or thoughts, but by observing the underlying awareness itself.
Shifting from being lost in experience.
To resting as the awareness of experience. It's a subtle but profound shift.
And that connects back to the Dhammapada, doesn't it? The instruction to awaken to the body's mirage nature. It seems directly aimed at making this fundamental shift in perception happen, allowing us to go beyond the sight of the king of death, or maybe metaphorically, beyond the limits and fears that our usual perceived reality imposes on us.
Yes. If we understand that what we perceive as solid and permanent, our body, our thoughts, our identity, is actually more like a mirage, an illusion,
Then what?
then we open ourselves to a deeper, more enduring truth. And this understanding frees us from the suffering that inevitably comes from clinging to things that don't last. It's about seeing that our biggest fears often stem from illusions. And when you see through those illusions, you unlock this profound, unshakable sense of peace.
Okay, let's move into the next big theme. Suffering itself, and specifically craving. The Dhammapada really doesn't pull any punches here, does it? Identifying the source.
No, it's incredibly direct, unflinching, really. It says, "Death takes away the man with attached mind, plucking only flowers, like a great flood, a sleeping village."
Wow, like a great flood, a sleeping village.
Yeah.
That's chilling.
It is. It's a stark warning. This image conveys how subtly, how inevitably attachment can lead to our undoing, often before we even realize what's happening.
Swept away before you wake up.
Exactly. And it paints another powerful picture, too, of being utterly trapped. Accompanied by craving, folk crawl around like a trapped hare, being held by fetters and bonds. They come by suffering again and again for long.
Like a trapped hare, just going in circles.
Yes. This isn't just philosophy. It's a profound statement about the direct causal link between unchecked craving and this repetitive, seemingly endless cycle of suffering in our actual lives.
And this craving, it's not just about wanting big things like mansions or fame, right?
No, absolutely not. That's crucial to understand. This deep understanding of craving goes way beyond grand desires. Even seemingly small, specific preferences can become these profound attachments.
Like,
Well, the Screwtape Letters offers a fascinating, though inverted, perspective. It highlights how what it calls gluttony of delicacy, like insisting on a very specific kind of tea, prepared just so, or needing the teeniest, weeniest bit of really crisp toast, can breed querulousness, impatience, uncharitableness, and self-concern.
the tyranny of tiny preferences.
Exactly. The problem isn't the toast itself, obviously. It's the determination to get exactly what one wants, regardless of the trouble it causes others or the inner turmoil it stirs up.
Right. It's the attachment, the rigidity.
Yes. It brilliantly shows how even minor attachments, when we cling to them rigidly, can erode our inner peace, warp our character, and even damage our relationships. The object of the craving is less important than the mindset of craving.
So it's not just what we want, but the intensity of the wanting, the insistence, the self-centeredness of it all.
Precisely. The self-centeredness is key. Theologia Germanica reinforces this powerfully. It states that all will apart from God's will, that is, all self-will, is sin.
Whoa. Strong words.
Very. And it continues, so long as a man seeketh his own will and his own highest good, because it is his, and for his own sake, he will never find it.
So seeking for my sake blocks the path.
That's the essence of it. It's the ego's grip, the self-centeredness of desire that obstructs true goodness and ultimately true fulfillment. When our desires are just focused on I, me, mine, we build a wall around ourselves.
We become our own prison warden, like you said before.
Exactly. We trap ourselves.
Okay, so if we connect this to the bigger picture, it seems devastatingly clear. Until we address these root causes, this craving, this self-will, we're basically stuck, right? On a hamster wheel of dissatisfaction and suffering.
That's the diagnosis, yes. Which naturally leads us to the crucial question. How do we start to cut these ties? How do we get off the wheel?
Yeah, what's the prescription?
The Dhammapada gives us a direct, undeniable command. Having seen the creeper that has arisen, cut out with insight wisdom its root.
Insight wisdom. So it's not just brute force.
No, it's not about mere suppression or ignoring desires. It's about a deep, incisive, insightful understanding of where craving comes from, its psychological, emotional roots, and then deliberately, skillfully acting to dismantle it right at the source.
Like internal surgery.
That's a good way to put it. An active, conscious process of internal surgery.
Okay, let's unpack the practical side then. Because Understanding the problem is one thing, right? But actually doing something about it,
Yeah,
that's the real challenge.
absolutely. Theory versus practice.
The Dhammapada provides a path forward, doesn't it? It seems concise, but incredibly powerful, like a core curriculum for interchange.
It does. It lays it out clearly. Refraining from all that is detrimental, the attainment of what is wholesome, the purification of one's mind. This is the instruction of awakened ones.
Okay, let's break that down. Refraining from harm, attaining the wholesome, and purifying the mind.
Yes. It's a clear call to action for profound inner purity, not just in our external actions, but right down to the level of our thoughts, our intentions, our whole internal landscape.
So it's comprehensive.
Very. It moves beyond just avoiding bad stuff to actively cultivating well-being, clarity, and inner freedom within our own minds.
This idea of purification of one's mind, it seems to echo in other traditions too, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It resonates profoundly with, for example, the Christian mystical tradition. St. John of the Cross, in Dark Night of the Soul, speaks of an inflowing of God into the soul, which purges it from its ignorances and imperfections.
The dark night. Yeah, that sounds intense.
It is. He describes how sometimes that initial feeling of sensible sweetness in spiritual practice can diminish. You might feel dry, spiritually arid, like you're in darkness.
Yeah, that happens. It feels like you're going backwards.
Right. But paradoxically, St. John explains that this very lack of comforting feelings can actually free it from impurities. It curbs concupiscence and desire, that intense longing, often for worldly things, and ultimately leads to spiritual tranquility and peace.
So the darkness is actually cleansing.
In this view, yes. The darkness, that sense of dryness, is actually a purification process, preparing the soul for union, systematically removing the attachments and desires that bind it.
Wow. That requires a lot of trust in the process.
Immense trust. It's a challenging but necessary process of letting go of what we think spiritual progress should feel like and embracing the deeper, sometimes uncomfortable work.
So it really comes down to letting go, doesn't it? Letting go of expectations, judgments, resisting what is whether we like it or not.
Fundamentally, yes.
But I sometimes struggle with this. Doesn't letting go sometimes feel like just giving up?
Yeah.
Especially when things are genuinely difficult or unjust. How do we navigate that?
That's a really important question, and the texts offer guidance. Radical acceptance talks about meeting difficult emotions and sensations with a wakeful and healing presence.
Wakeful and healing, not ignoring.
Exactly. It encourages approaching sensations without managing or manipulating your experience. Don't grasp or push anything away. Simply open to the changing dance of sensations, feeling your life from the inside out.
Okay, so it's about opening to it, not fighting it.
Precisely. Instead of fighting our internal experience, which often just digs it in deeper, we turn towards it with this open, gentle awareness. We allow it to move through us without getting entangled, without creating a new story of self-pity or anger around it.
That sounds like an active, courageous kind of engagement, not resignation at all.
It is. It takes courage. It's not about resignation, but about a deep, fundamental shift in our relationship to the present moment.
And the power of now seems to hit this hard too, right? Breaking old patterns.
Yes, it emphasizes breaking the old pattern of present moment denial and present moment resistance. It instructs us to withdraw attention from past and future whenever they are not needed, which is most of the time, let's be honest.
Well, yeah.
And to accept the isness of this moment. Then you take action. Then you take action and do all that you can to get out of the mud.
Okay, so acceptance first, then action.
Yes. Action from a place of radical acceptance, not from frustration, anger, or despair. The power isn't in fighting the present or wishing it were different, but in seeing it clearly, acknowledging it fully, before responding constructively and mindfully.
That feels very pragmatic, grounded in the here and now.
It is. It grounds us in the only moment we ever actually have this one.
And the Tao Te Ching also warns about different kinds of, well, ego trips, basically.
Self-indulgence.
Yes, things like being self-serving, self-promoting, self-appointing, self-righteous, all those subtle ways the ego puffs itself up. It calls these things rotting food and painful growths on the body that must be uprooted, thrown out, and left behind if you want to walk the path of Tao.
Rotting food. Painful growths. That's graphic.
It leaves no room for doubt, does it? It's not just a suggestion for being a nicer person. It's a clear call for profound inner housekeeping, a radical purification of our motives, our intentions.
It makes you realize how even socially acceptable forms of self-centeredness can be harmful to our inner peace. Absolutely. It's about spotting those hidden ways the ego subtly asserts itself and then gently but firmly letting them go.
Okay, this path sounds,
Right.
well, necessary, but also really demanding.
It brings us to a crucial point that we absolutely can't gloss over. Is this path to purification and detachment easy?
My guess is no.
You guessed right. When Things Fall Apart states it very candidly. It says the middle way is wide open, but it's tough going because it goes against the grain of an ancient neurotic pattern that we all share.
An ancient neurotic pattern.
Yeah, that resonates.
Doesn't it? It requires real bravery just to sit and feel what we feel, to truly face our discomfort, our conditioned reactions, and to start to undo our very ancient and very stuck habitual patterns of mind.
So it takes guts. It's not for the faint of heart.
No, it demands a deep willingness to face discomfort, challenge our most cherished beliefs about ourselves and the world, and deconstruct these deeply ingrained psychological patterns that, ironically, often give us a false sense of security.
And it's definitely not a quick fix, right? Not a one-time thing. Oh, absolutely not, as much as we might wish for that magic bullet. The fifth agreement really underscores the importance of repetition and practice to make these new ways of being, these agreements, into deeply ingrained habits.
Practice, practice, practice.
Exactly. And it advises, very compassionately, I think, if you fail to keep one of the agreements, make the agreement again. Begin again tomorrow and again the next day. Keep practicing and practicing. Each day will become easier.
I like that. It acknowledges we'll stumble.
It does. It encourages persistent, compassionate effort rather than beating ourselves up when we inevitably fall short. It's a continuous commitment, a daily recommitment to self-mastery, understanding that growth is gradual, incremental.
Even someone like Siddhartha, the Buddha himself, didn't get there overnight, did he?
Not at all. Despite years of intense ascetic practices, he found himself at one point feeling just as far removed from wisdom as a child in the mother's womb.
Wow. After all that effort.
Yeah. His journey actually led him to realize he had to experience the world more fully. He had to go out into the world, lose himself to lust and power, to woman and money, until the priest and samana, the ascetic in him, was dead.
So he had to embrace life, not just renounce it.
It seems that way for him. It highlights that the path to true wisdom isn't always linear or predictable. It can involve fully embracing and then consciously transcending various experiences rather than just trying to avoid them.
Interesting.
He ultimately found his own way, his wisdom, by listening to an inner voice, realizing that wisdom cannot be passed on just through external teachings alone.
So guidance is helpful, but the work is internal.
That's what it suggests. External guidance can point the way, absolutely, but the real learning, the transformation, has to happen within us through our own direct experience, our own introspection, that deep inner listening.
That makes sense. And this need for consistent inner practice, maybe with some disciplined guidance, seems to pop up everywhere.
It's a recurring theme across these wisdom traditions, yes. The Way of a Pilgrim beautifully illustrates the transformative power of something like the Jesus Prayer. It shows how constant rhythmic repetition of a mantra or prayer can actually open the heart and illumine it.
Even if it feels dry sometimes.
Especially then. The text assures us that even arid and distracted prayer, as long as it is frequent and constant and becomes a habit that is as second nature, will be transformed into pure, illumined, fervent, and righteous prayer.
That's incredibly hopeful. It speaks to the power of just showing up.
It really does. It's a profound testament to the cumulative, almost alchemical effect of dedicated practice, regardless of how it feels in the moment. It's like building a spiritual muscle, refining our attention, purifying our intentions through consistent, unwavering effort.
Okay, so what does this all mean for actually transforming our inner experience, like day to day?
Well, it seems a crucial, fundamental step is developing what some traditions call the watcher.
The watcher.
Yeah, an inner observer, someone watching our own minds, our thoughts, emotions, reactions, without getting swept away.
Creating some distance.
Exactly. The power of now describes being totally identified with some mental or emotional pattern as being unconscious. It implies a complete absence of the watcher.
So becoming present means bringing the watcher online.
Yes. To step out of that unconscious identification is to regain that inner observer, to create that vital space between you and the stream of thoughts and emotions, and just witness them without getting caught up. It's realizing you are not your thoughts, you're the awareness of your thoughts.
This is the huge shift.
It is. And the Untethered Soul expands on this beautifully. It urges us to objectively watch your problems instead of being lost in them.
Watch them instead of being them.
Right. It argues that the real problem is that there is something inside of you that can have a problem with almost anything. The mind just loves problems.
Yeah, it does.
And the solution, it suggests, is to go inside and let go of the part of you that seems to have so many problems with reality.
So stop trying to fix the outside and work on the inside.
It's a shift from that outer solution consciousness, always trying to rearrange the world or fix other people, to an inner solution consciousness,
Yeah.
directly addressing and releasing our internal reactivity.
Which means facing the root of our psychological stuff.
Exactly. Realizing that our personality itself is often built to protect us from fear, that we construct this self from curated memories and experiences we cling to. The Watcher lets us see this construction without being trapped inside it.
And this watcher, this awareness, that's what radical acceptance is getting at when it asks what or who is aware of experience.
Right, precisely. The practice is to rest in awareness of your whole body, without trying to manage or manipulate your experience. Don't grasp or push anything away.
Just let it be.
Just let it be. It's about that radical acceptance of whatever is arising within us, emotions, sensations, thoughts, observed from this place of spacious, non-judgmental awareness.
Again, not passive resignation.
No, it's an active, gentle, but incredibly powerful engagement with our inner landscape, being present with whatever is without piling on more mental commentary or resistance.
And this practice, cultivating the watcher, does it lead to stillness, less mental noise?
That's the experience, yes. A profound internal stillness, a quieting of that constant mental chatter. When Things Fall Apart talks about meditation as an activity that doesn't add anything to the picture, it just allows everything to come and go without further embellishment.
Like clouds passing?
Exactly. Thoughts are acknowledged simply as thinking, without all the usual drama, and allowed to come and go as if touching a feather.
Touching a feather. I like that. Gentle, not attached.
It perfectly illustrates that gentle, non-attached quality of observation. It's about letting go of our habit of engaging with, judging, or pushing away our thoughts. And when we do that, when we stop clinging, this natural, unbiased state of being underneath the noise starts to reveal itself. A deeper silence emerges.
But this inner journey, this path of purification, watching, it's not always peaceful and serene, is it? It can get tough. Even lead through that dark night we mentioned.
Definitely not always serene. The Celestine prophecy, for instance, hints at this reality check when the main character finds it hard to concentrate on feeling cosmic when people are trying to kill me.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It's a reminder, isn't it? External turmoil, real-world threats, they can severely test our inner peace. Maintaining this awakened presence, this connection to the Watcher, is a practice that needs sustaining even when things are genuinely chaotic or dangerous.
It shows the depth of the challenge, really, detaching when you're under pressure.
It does. And St. John of the Cross, his dark night of the soul, describes this difficult phase deeply. Again, that inflowing of God into the soul, which purges it from its ignorances and imperfections.
That purging process.
It can be agonizing. The soul feels far away from God, unable to raise its affection or its mind to God. There's that profound aridity, that loss of spiritual comfort, maybe even a sense of abandonment.
Sounds awful.
It can feel that way. Yet, St. John insists it is precisely in this darkness that the soul walks securely, because it's being prepared for the union of love with God.
So the darkness is actually safe passage.
In his view, yes. The ultimate goal is to be brought into emptiness and poverty of spirit, stripped of all self-centered desires and attachments, so you can live a new and blessed life. It's a journey through the fire of purification, burning away the old illusions to allow for a deeper, purer connection to ultimate reality.
And this union he talks about, it's not just an idea, right? It's an actual experience.
It's described as an experience of profound connection, yes. Wholeness, an integrated way of being. The Philokalia, that collection of texts from Eastern Christian mysticism, describes it as the soul dwelling in Christ in the eternal remembrance of God.
How is it achieved?
Through complete stillness, the avoidance of all evil, the acquisition of blessings, perfect love towards God, and communion with Him in holiness and righteousness. It paints a picture of integrated spiritual living.
So while the path might be hard, the destination is this state of harmony.
A deep and abiding peace, yes, where our whole being is aligned with ultimate truth, permeating every aspect of life.
And thinking bigger picture again, this individual transformation, it affects more than just the person, doesn't it? It ripples outward.
It absolutely does. It moves beyond just personal peace to a radical understanding of how interconnected everything is. Conversations with God makes this powerful, expansive statement. Nothing exists in the universe that is separate from anything else. Everything is intrinsically connected, irrevocably interdependent, interactive, interwoven into the fabric of all of life.
Wow, everything connected.
This oneness, this fundamental unity, is presented as the true nature of our being. And the inner journey of mindfulness and detachment ultimately leads us to realize this directly.
And realizing that dissolves the illusion of separation.
Exactly, which is the source of so much suffering, both individual and collective. When we truly understand this interconnectedness, our perspective on life, on others, on our place in the cosmos, it just irrevocably changes.
So what's the ultimate goal then? Where does this path lead according to the Dhammapada?
It speaks of the ultimate achievement, painting this beautiful picture. Those who are intent on meditating, the wise ones, delighting in the calm of going out, even gods long for them. The fully enlightened ones, the mindful.
Even gods long for them. That's quite a statement.
Isn't it? It's not just about personal peace. It's about reaching a state of being so profoundly liberated, so deeply wise, that it transcends ordinary human experience. True enlightenment, a state admired even by divine beings. It suggests complete mastery over the mind and its tendencies.
And other traditions describe something similar.
Yes. The Tibetan Book of the Dead describes a similar culmination, not just in life, but at the moment of transition, death. It says, "The inner radiance of the ground is now arisen before you."
The inner radiance.
It's introduced as pure inner radiance, reality itself, a brilliant emptiness. It is beyond substance, beyond characteristics, and beyond color, completely empty of inherent existence, yet unimpededly radiant, brilliant, and vibrant.
That's hard to grasp. Brilliant emptiness.
It points to the essential nature of reality, experienced directly. A profound, liberating encounter with the true, unconditioned nature of consciousness itself, free from the limits of the body and the ego. It's the ultimate realization of that mirage nature of self and world we talked about earlier.
Course in Miracles seems to echo this power within us.
Oh, right.
Denying illusions.
It does. It speaks to this inherent power within everyone, saying every son of God has the power to deny illusions anywhere in the kingdom, merely by denying them completely in himself.
So peace is an inside job.
Fundamentally, yes. It implies the path to peace and liberation is about denying what is unreal within us, recognizing the truth that's already inherent in our being. And by disengaging from false beliefs and illusions in our own minds, we don't just free ourselves, we actually contribute to healing the collective. Personal transformation has this ripple effect.
So individual work impacts the whole world.
That's the implication. This path isn't just about individual liberation, but about fostering this ripple effect on the collective consciousness. Autobiography of a Yogi mentions Kriya Yoga as a scientific technique intended to ultimately spread in all lands and aid in harmonizing the nations.
Harmonizing nations through inner practice.
That's the vision. Similarly, Conversations with God calls for a wider shift of consciousness, a global consciousness, where the world's resources will rightly be seen as belonging to all the world's people.
A truly transformed world.
It's a vision of a transformed humanity where individual enlightenment, the cultivation of pure awareness, contributes to a collective awakening, leading, hopefully, to a more just, harmonious, truly interdependent world for everyone. It's a profound shift in how we see and interact with reality itself on every single level.
So, bringing it all together then, this journey outlined in the Dhammapada, echoed across all these traditions, it's really about a profound shift, isn't it?
It is.
Individually and collectively.
It is.
Moving from clinging, from self-will, to a state of mindful, detached awareness, which ultimately leads to wholeness. Liberation. It's a journey from that self-made prison of suffering to the expansive freedom of an awakened mind. And it sounds like it starts with just one single conscious step of awareness, taken right here, right now.
That's exactly it. One moment at a time.
Wow. What an incredible deep dive into the timeless wisdom of the Dhammapada. And just seeing how its call to mindfulness echoes so powerfully across so many different traditions.
It's remarkable, isn't it?
It really is. We've explored how our attachments, especially to that false self, the stories, the labels we create, and that relentless pull of craving, how they generate so much suffering in our lives.
The mechanics of suffering.
Yeah. And crucially, we've seen how cultivating genuine mental discipline through consistent practice can lead to profound inner peace, to true liberation. It's such a powerful reminder that the path to freedom isn't really found in changing external things, but in this deep internal transformation of our own consciousness.
Absolutely. At its heart, the Dhammapada reminds us of the power of self-purification. It keeps coming back to that core instruction. The purification of one's mind. This is the instruction of awakened ones.
Right.
It's a journey, really, from the chaos and confusion of an untamed mind to the clarity and serenity of pure awareness. And it's a path available to every single one of us, one moment, one breath, one conscious choice at a time.
It makes it accessible.
It does. It highlights that these aren't just, esoteric teachings for a select few monks somewhere. They offer practical, actionable guidance for anyone seeking genuine peace, understanding, and freedom right in the middle of their daily lives.
And this journey, okay, it's challenging, requires immense bravery, like we said.
Yeah.
But it promises a freedom that goes beyond just good or bad circumstances, right?
Yeah.
A peace that isn't dependent on things going our way.
Exactly. A freedom that transcends worldly conditions.
It's about recognizing the truth of who you really are, letting go of what you're not, and embracing a life lived with intentional, mindful awareness, where every moment becomes this opportunity for deeper insight, profound compassion, and just unwavering presence.
Beautifully put. Which perhaps leaves us with a final provocative thought for you, our listener.
Okay.
Given these ancient yet incredibly relevant insights, if the path to ending suffering truly lies in letting go of what you think you are and what you think you need, what is one possession, and that could be a deeply held belief, an identity you've clung to, maybe even a material item, what's one thing that you are willing to examine for its true hold over you starting today? What might you begin to gently yet firmly loosen your grip on, just to experience maybe a glimpse of that profound freedom we've been talking about?